And good evening, everybody. Sorry it took me a while to. I'd completely forgotten today is Good Friday, and it is the day of s- sadness, yes, sort of, but today is Good Friday. I had taken a recent video on Wednesday, which was the day of the Last Supper, which Jesus and his 12 disciples partook of the unleavened bread and the wine, which is Jesus' blood. And so, what today or this evening, I'll talk a few minutes, and I'll put a link to the video I did down below here. And of course, I can get a link up at the top, right up here. And so, what I am basically going to do here is talk about what happened after the Last Supper. And after they partook of the meal, in the book of Mark, I had gone this morning, and I do my daily devotional in the mornings, and just my time with God and Jesus for about an hour. I usually just sit and just write, highlight stuff in the Bible that I really need to, that I really need to follow, and important scriptures that I were to address if I were to talk to my friends or anyone on the street or whatever. Because as for myself, I want to serve other people, and I love serving other people and helping other people. And so I think this is a way for myself to address that through Scripture. Now, in the book of Mark, I went on this morning, and in the book of Mark, I had gone through the chapter where, after the Last Supper, Jesus and his 12 disciples were coming out of the upper room and headed to the Garden of Gethsemane, which we'll get to in a moment. But Jesus turns to Peter, and Jesus told Peter, he said, before the rooster crows, you're going to deny me 3 times. And Peter just was in shock. He was distraught and shocked at what Jesus had said, and of course Jesus' words were true. And Peter ended up denying Jesus, saying, I don't know the man. Who are you talking about? I don't know him. And the rooster crowed twice, and Peter just went to a corner and wept. Seriously, like, wept. I mean, he was crying so hard. So hard. But I wrote down that Peter would rather die with Jesus than deny him. And I think I'm with Peter on this one, because I couldn't. That would be tough for myself or any Christian to do. And I think, yeah, this is what it says in Mark chapter 14, verse 30. Truly I tell you, Jesus answered, today, yes, tonight, before the rooster crows twice, you yourself will deny me 3 times. And after that event took place, they went on their way to the Garden of Gethsemane, where Jesus began to pray, and he told his disciples, he said to watch while I pray. And Jesus went and prayed to the Father, because he was about to be put into the hands of the Romans, and guards were about to arrest him and take him away for trial. And so and he knew this was going. Jesus knew this was going to happen. And Jesus says that my soul is overwhelmed. My soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death. Stay here. He said to his disciples, "Stay here and keep watch." So be on guard whenever, so they can let Jesus know when the guards show up. But he basically, Jesus prayed for like an hour, and that's too long for me. I can't pray for. I cannot pray for an hour. I mean, the longest I could pray was probably 15 minutes. But anyway, that's beside the point. That's Jesus here, so he can pray for however long he wants to. And then after Jesus had prayed in the garden for that hour, and he found his disciples asleep. And he said, Jesus warns them to watch and pray so they will not fall into temptation. I mean, that doesn't mean you can't sleep, but it basically goes for a good couple times before the guards end up showing up and arresting him. And but it does say that, like, Jesus, he wasn't angry, but he was concerned because of their faith. And then he finally says, "The hour has come. Look, the Son of Man is delivered into the hands of sinners. Rise, let us go. Here comes my betrayer." Now, remember when we talked about Judas in the previous video, Judas was the one that betrayed Jesus, and then he was arrested. Jesus was arrested, and Judas, who was the one betrayed, he arranged a signal with them, and the one in verse 44 states that the one I kiss is the man. Arrest him and lead him away under guards. Myself, I would not want to be Judas at this story, because I probably would have been Judas. After that had happened, he went away and killed himself, hung himself. And so after Judas betrayed Jesus with a kiss on the cheek, and almost a fight broke out because Peter was definitely on Jesus' side, and this part I didn't write down, but there was a point in the story where Peter took out a sword and just about cut the guy's one of the guard's ears off, and Jesus turned to Peter and said, "Peter, those who live by the sword die by the sword." And so Peter just drops the sword. And so that happened, and he's led away, and this is the now it's like morning. It's in the morning because they had the trial in the morning. Pilate, Pontius Pilate, he was the one. He even washed his hands in a bowl. He says, he didn't want Jesus to die. He didn't want to crucify Jesus, and he brought no charges against him. But the crowd just insisted to crucify him. And so they, just to get the crowd to shut up, Pilate just insisted, "Okay, he's yours now. So the crowd got a big wooden pole, tree, like, I guess tree limbs, I don't know, uh, and big heavy, of course, heavy wood planks. But before that, um, beat. They went out, and I guess I don't know where it was, like in a temple court. I don't know where it was, but they handcuffed Jesus to a like a scaffolding thing, big pole, wooden barrel. I guess I don't know, barrel with a pole sticking out of it, and handcuffed him to that, and just beat him 40 times, 40 lashes. And these rods were deadly. I mean, about an they had about an inch thick of razor sharp wire, and also nails. And it could, the way it described it was just it ripped skin off. Um, and he did this 40 times, and I do not know how Jesus survived that. Because I probably would have been dead anyway. He did, and after that happened, they put a crown of thorns on him, and then and also just mocked him, spit on him, cursed him, and put a crown of thorns on him, and those things hurt. Anyway, so that happened, and then he led him through the streets of Rome up to a hill called Golgotha, which is where the hill of Calvary is. It's called Calvary, and also called the place of the skull. But lo and behold, he there, and then they ended up just strapping him on with rope. Tied him first. They tied him first, and then drove nails right here, and here, and also his feet. And now there were also other two criminals. They were actual criminals. One on Jesus' left, so on this side, and then or this side, and then one on Jesus' right on this side. And so the one on the left just continued to mock him, and like he did like the crowd, and said, "Come down if you're the Son of God, and do this or do that." But the one on the right said, "This man has no sin. We're the sinners. We deserve this. This man has done nothing." Jesus turned to the man on his right and said, "Truly today, I tell you, you will be with me in paradise." And so that happened. And then about noon, which would have been like noon today, darkness was over the entire world. No light whatsoever. God turned his back. The curtain of the temple was torn from top to bottom, straight through. And at, I guess about, 6 hours. Was it 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock? But it said at the ninth hour, Jesus cried out, "Father, in your hands I commit my spirit. He bowed his head. It is finished. That was when there was a large earthquake and a storm. But, and then one of the soldiers from the Roman soldiers took a spear just to check and see if Jesus was really dead. Stuck it in the side, and nothing but blood and water came out. And then one of the soldiers that was just walking by, and he became a believer, because he said, truly, this man was the Son of God. And so that happened. All this, now, there's a movie that came out a while back in like 06, called The Passion. And I remember watching it, and holy cow, it takes place actually at the Last Supper, and all the way through his trial, Jesus' trial, his crucifixion, and then I think it either ends at his resurrection, or he goes on to preach the last sermon before he ascends into heaven. I can't remember, but the Passion was, it is intense. It's a movie that, of course, it's a movie about the Passion and about Jesus' death and resurrection. But just the scenes in it are just bloody, gory fighting. I mean, it's very intense. Don't watch it alone. Watch it with friends or family. Family, most obvious. Because that movie is super intense. But nevertheless, they took Jesus' body, took him down from the cross. He had already died. And they took it down from the cross and placed it in a tomb, and rolled a giant rock, stone, whatever you want to call it, in front of the tomb. And then they just went away and left. And now tomorrow is no video, because it's Silence Saturday. But Sunday is coming. Thanks for watching. I hope this video, I tried to give as much detail as I could in remembrance of Jesus' trial and crucifixion. But please like this video, definitely. It's one of, and comment. Let me know how you liked it or what you thought of it. Leave thoughts. I'm open to any comments. Just none that are inappropriate, please. And like I said, leave a like down of it. Leave a like. Notifications. If you want to be notified when I do upload a video. And subscribe to the channel, Squatch Vlogs. I'm glad I was finally able to get to it today. And but we'll pick back up again. Tomorrow is Silence Saturday. But we'll pick back up again on Sunday, on Easter Sunday, or Resurrection Sunday. And so we'll talk about talked about the sad part today, but there's a big uplift and encouragement to all people. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys again soon.